All right, hi. The time is 12:34 p.m. the 21st of February 2025. That vehicle started coming around in the last 6 months, and in the last 6 months is when the property titleship very likely started shifting from the Russian organized crime into my name, or into some sort of legal U.S. citizen who's in the military. It's not in the custody and property of any foreign nationals anymore. S Street compound is owned by a U.S. citizen, and it's not an evil terrorist. All right. So they have lost control over this place. And when the terrorists who set this place up became aware of that, the lower ranks started reacting to it. The terrorists who set this place up wanted everybody out. And the lower ranks started reacting to it, like the DCPD. They're a huge one. And then recently the feds started to panic and they started to come literally in here. I've been standing like 5 feet from groups of them, wandering around with the houses engulfed in dead bodies. So the police, the U.S. law enforcement, have been having a panic attack that they're losing complete and utter any control they had over their precious cannibal organ harvesting chemical weapons compound. Okay. All they have is each other. They have their own little law enforcement. They have their judges, and they have their absolutely felonious lawyers, attorneys, prosecutors, felonious, who are all being booked, who are all being cuffed, whoever's left in DC and wants to keep fighting the government and practicing law and saying any of this that happened on S Street was legal. Exactly, they can't, okay? So that's not my problem or my conundrum that they're still sitting in their offices declaring that they're a prosecutor in DC. It's not my problem at all. All right. I have witnessed that minivan start to come. The frequency of that minivan is now about 2 to 3 days a week. They usually come and they stay over a weekend period. And through that weekend period, there'll be nothing but feds and these very dangerous individuals. Many of them are enlisted military. And I'm a direct witness to the most severe combat in here that I'm not able to talk about. Events that take place under the floors that I'm just, those things I can't talk about. Military aircraft that I can't talk about. It all comes when that van is here. And that van is linked to the feds, the federal law enforcement, which is why that female wanted to identify herself and wave at the camera, believing that she's protected. No matter what kind of heinous violence she commits, she can wave at the camera. No one can arrest her. Now take note, it's the female terrorists that are behaving like that here. The ones that are still alive and still left on the compound. It's these individuals who are behaving like that. It's the females. It's just something to take note of. And every one of them needs to be put in a psychiatric unit. They're so deranged and violent. Okay? They need to definitely be taken into custody. All right. So what I've witnessed is there was a family that was visiting an Arabic family, a woman and a small child. And there was some white man that was with them. They were in the house 1515 or something like that. They were killed on S Street, and that minivan chopped up the female and the little kid. The daughter was a girl, and she was about 7. They chopped up the kid. And when that minivan left, they snuck out. They tried to sneak out and not be seen, and they didn't come back for a long time. That minivan didn't come back and start chopping up bodies again. They didn't want to be seen back at the scene of the crime for a good like month. And now that was about 4 months ago. And now they're here all the time. But remember, the combat's really intense here, and they're losing this compound, this terrorist cell is losing their terrorists who are chopping up bodies. There's going to be a point where there's not a lot of people available to this terrorist cell of law enforcement, federal agents, DCPD, DCFD, the fire department. You know, you want to include the DC prosecutors in this, that's fine. The DC courthouse, I can testify that they're involved in this. So the DC courthouse, where I stood and watched that terrorist cell there, is a branch, or however you want to differentiate it. They're in this ISIS cell, okay? Then you can just simply, easily, and verifiably say that courthouse is losing their individuals on S Street through combat. That's how they're losing them. They're able to chop up bodies here. So that vehicle, that van is here all the time. It comes here like 2 to 3 days a week. And when it comes, it'll stay up to 48 hours. And it tries to sneak off every time. It comes and it thinks it's going to take over with Donald Trump. It's here every time Donald Trump and the Pentagon think they're going to attack and coup and start a hot war. And when that happens, there's massive combat here. There's massive Mexican drug cartel that, like you just saw tonight, that I was allowed to film, sawing under the floor, rolling balls. But it gets far worse than that. They bring trained U.S. military, and that's when I start to have to hide, because some of them are like Green Beret or something, and I have to like hide in my room. And then they come from 1507, these crawl holes, and they come right in from 1511. And that's when I'll start to report, if I'm able to. They go down. You'll hear grown, huge men going down, like one after the next. Boom, 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 and then down, out. And then you can hear the scrape. They drag the body off. They cut the bodies up right underneath my chair. They did it again tonight. There was a corpse, and a dead corpse that was reeking. I had to breathe through my mouth. I had to run out of my room and go into my extra room. They were chopping a body up underneath my chair in that compartment again tonight, which is what I'm saying. And so then they bring that vehicle in because they have so many bodies they have to chop up. This is exactly what I'm a direct witness to. Now, the military was over here. They flew 3 bomber helicopters on top of what I could see 2 other military aircraft that were circling and hovering this block and 15th for at least 20 minutes. And then they still bring them in. And that's why it was my job tonight to report all the vehicle traffic, okay? They're still bringing them in and chopping up bodies in front of the serious military I would not do that in front of. And then they fry them up, okay? Then they start eating them, okay? And that's when I'll report they're cannibalizing, okay? This is all facts. I'm not trying to, I don't make any money doing this. All right, I don't, even if I end up owning the properties or getting a direct deposit from the good military, it's not my money, it's their money. It's just in my name, okay? I have to, get my own paycheck. So there's no incentive for me to make up, any exaggerations here, and certainly not when it's happening in this property. My life has been at risk on hyperbolic speed. Right after I filmed that terrorist with the stringy, greasy hair pulled back in, after I already witnessed they chopped up a body underneath my chair and filled my room up with a fucking dead corpse. There's nothing more disgusting when they fucking chop up bodies in here. That stench is horrific. Okay, right after I filmed that terrorist with the stringy, greasy hair who waved at me, who chops up bodies, that car chops up little kids. Anyways, all I got was poison so bad in my room, I had to hang up the camera and race. And by the time I got to a toilet, it was just pouring out of me like a faucet. It's a chemical weapon they're using on me. It's not, I don't suddenly have to pee like that out of my bum. Okay, I'm perfectly fine, but the grotesque and pain and the effects, which I'm not allowed to talk about, that it does to me in the bathroom are really fucking serious. And the military who keeps flying helicopters over here, and some of them can drop shells and rockets. They know exactly what kind of poison they're using on me, and I'm going to be told what the fuck these crack addicts were using on me. Because some of these people who are using the gas are the very people you see on film. Okay, I've said that they're high as the sky when they do it, but not all of them. Okay, the rest of them who are bringing the gas, who are showing them how to operate this gas, are enlisted military, and those are the individuals that I just have to lock it down. I have to stay in my quarters for my safety. And when that van is here, you'll see, if they want it, if the generals order the helicopters, if the generals order the aircraft. It's not always the case, but you'll see when that van is here, you'll see all these choppers, and you'll hear, if I'm allowed to report it, so much loud combat. They'll go down upstairs on floor 3, huge grown men crashing down. They'll go down on floor 1, huge grown men crashing down on floor 1. You'll think that things are exploding in the basement. It's so loud. You'll hear it on both sides of the house. You'll hear it on 1507 and you'll hear it in 1511. You'll hear the most intense combat. Okay, it's nothing else but combat. And then you smell the cannibalism in my bathroom and all through my house in the hallway. And you smell the corpses they stuff in my bathroom, and they stuff them underneath my chair, and they chop up the corpses underneath my chair, and they chop them up in 1511. They chop them up in 1513. That homosexual man and that whole crowd that you saw are cannibals. Everybody who pulls into that backyard chops up bodies. And that yard, and I can testify to this, I'm allowed to finally say it. That 1513 chopped up a 7-year-old, a little girl. They decapitated her head and dismembered her and dissolved her remains. If you're looking for that little girl, me and the military know where she is. I'm not repeating myself. You want to hear it again, rewind what I said. Okay, I'm a witness to all this, all right? I do not believe that is why they keep gassing me and coming after me hyperbolic. I believe why the cartel is Colombian cartel and a lot of Mexican cartel. Why they specifically are just targeting me, and why they are, and why the Ukrainian Russians have been fucking out of control here is because of Putin. I strongly believe that I own one of these properties up and down this street. I think I'm going to end up finding out that my name on my driver's license is actually a legal owner of one of these fucking places. And that's why, because this doesn't make sense. Even with what I'm testifying to now, to have... See, I can't talk about it. But they have been coming at me day and night. It's a little bit too intense to just be merely because I witnessed them. No, it doesn't add up. No. But back to that vehicle, that burgundy vehicle. So every time they come in grandiose. Okay, you can see by the stringy hair and the big show they like to put on, like they're just this regular folk. Dude, they chop up bodies and they just gassed me. All in fucking 5 minutes. You're not regular folk. And you just had about 5 fucking military helicopters over your house. Cut the crap. All right? But they're still in their backyards, and now they're on the internet again. It's not my call. It's their call. They want to go online. They want to keep on waving, and they want to keep coming back and forth no matter what. Defy all the odds. All right. That's your call, terrorists, not mine. I was supposed to film them. I was supposed to testify to this. So that car, when their attacks don't work, because they're directly linked to enlisted military, that car that you saw, those individuals are directly, they ID, they know by name, they're the best arrests you could possibly make, directly linked to military members. This is Romania, this is NATO, this is military members like that. This is US. Exactly. And I'm a witness to it, so I know what I'm talking about. So they think they're big and bad, and they can wave at me because they think I'm some sort of pissant in here. When all I do is diarrhea their fucking deadly lethal gas. That's how whacked out they are. I would stop gassing me if you had any brains left, but they have none. They can't even brush or wash their hair. So they pulled in. And so every time they pull in, there's always like a planned attack, quote unquote, on this property 1509, on me, on the special forces, the whole gang of us. It always fails. They always lose. And every time I watch that car sneak out and try not to be seen and sneak out. But they offer them so much fucking money to come back. And they tell them whatever they want to hear. And all these stories and lies, a pot of gold. And they come back and they're going to take over the world again. Oh, you can see how they wave. They're going to take over the world again and again and again. All you got to do is gas her. All you got to do is arrest her. And by the time they get in the house, they start to get a real reality check because they don't have any feds. They don't have any Russian Ukrainians. They don't have any Iranians or Saudi Arabian fucking creeps. They just don't have them. So they're in there chopping up bodies, and that's all they're doing. That's all they end up doing every time. And then they slither out. They slither fucking out. If I'm allowed, I'll film them sneaking out. They won't be waving and trying to be seen. Mark my words. All right, bye.